Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pit Talk, Pulling Pits and Opinions with your host, Gunny G, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on most social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism. We got a special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself. But again, before we start in the meat and potatoes, thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. It is truly appreciated. RJ, hey, everybody, say hello. I'll give them a brief background, professional bio, how long you did, when you got out, all that good jazz.
Hey, my name's RJ. Served in the Marine Corps from 2009 to 2007 to 2013. My MOS was supply. Quickly into the Marine Corps, I found out that like what it means when they say every Marine's a rifleman. I got sent on a little deployment like 2 months into my Fleet Marine Corps career with 10th Marines, and I got to be a turret gunner for a civil affairs unit. I mean, that's for the most part my background. My father was also a Marine, and that's what kind of led me to the Marine Corps. People that have been to my Twitter, if they read my pin post, they kind of know the details behind that. I don't know if we want to get into that, but that's kind of my career. And ever since the Marine Corps, it's been about healing, transitioning back into civilian world, as well as healing from PTSD and all the great things that come with it.
Yeah,
It's also been a spiritual journey as well.
that's good. I guess we're going to get right into it, RJ. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your quick background. When you said 2007 to 13, you did two contracts, one contract? Two. That's how.
One contract, I was on a med hold for 2 fun years.
Wow.
I spent 2 years in Wounded Warrior Battalion, just surgeries and healing, and generally they do a med board, so I went through the process of a med board. But yeah, prior to that, I didn't really realize there was a lot of physical damage to my body. Like, I just thought it was like my body was sore. You know, the Marine Corps, like, at least for me in boot camp, it kind of unlocked the door where it was like, no, my body can handle a whole lot more than I ever give it credit for. Regardless of the injury, it's like your brain is a pretty powerful thing that I don't think a lot of people give enough credit to. You can push past a lot of things in life, physically, mentally. I don't know. That's a door that was unlocked for me in boot camp, like pushing past the pain and seeing what the result is on the other side. And that's kind of really helped, I guess, my healing, my journey, is understanding that there's an end to it. You don't have to live in a certain state of consciousness forever. You have a choice in the matter as long as you take action.
That's deep. Let me ask you something. Excuse me. The 2 years, tell me how you felt throughout the 2 years, kind of just in limbo, waiting. Did any Marines reach back to you? Did you feel forgotten, so to speak, while you were sitting there at Wounded War Battalion? How was that experience for you?
Yeah, I've never been asked that before. I think, I don't know, you develop a bond with the guys that you deploy with, like a really strong bond. That's really hard to describe. I mean, that was something to adjust to. Those guys re-enlisting and being sent elsewhere. And then, you know, your whole world's kind of shooken up, and you're trying to also heal from whatever wounds you have, and you don't necessarily have the support that you used to. That was kind of a culture shock for me, where it was like, you kind of feel on your own. You know, you're surrounded by people that care, but at the same time, you don't have that same bond with them as you do with other people that have been through the fire with you and never looked. So, I mean, it was an interesting journey, but I think perspective is everything, and it was an empowering place, because that's a place that I wasn't necessarily good at. I wasn't good at handling just being on my own and doing things for myself. If you put me in a team atmosphere, then like I have no problem doing it, because I understand benefit from it. Um, as someone that's like has PTSD, like there has been times in the past where it was just like, well, what's the point? I'm going to be exhausted regardless of what I do. So why don't I just sit back and just relax? And sometimes that's not the answer. That's like giving in to the fight. Sometimes it is the answer and you push your body too far. Understanding which is which, I think is important in managing those kind of things that pop up.
I tell you what, RJ, feel like you got some on your heart, but we'll get to there in a second. Tell me about your transition from uniform to civilian, and how did that take effect? And how did that help or not help your situation?
And I kind of think my perspective on life, I think my perspective on life, as it is right now is, I mean, everything that I've been through in life has, whether I fully comprehend it right now or not, it's had a positive impact. It comes back to perspective. I went through things with my dad and friends that I served with. I mean, all those things, as hard as they were to get through, they reinforce certain things where it's like I have days where, you know, I feel pretty beaten, but I really feel like my job, my purpose here on earth is to provide other people with happiness in whatever way I can. So I know what it feels like to be on the other end of that. I could never do that to somebody that I care about. Not really sure. I can get on tangents here, but transitioning it's been a rocky road. It hasn't been easy. Expecting like the VA or anybody in healthcare to completely fix the problem. I did for a while and I left disappointed, but at the same time, I learned a lesson that those of us that have traumatic experiences, we kind of have to face the problem. They can give you whatever medication they want to remove the side effects, but I mean, in my experience, it's all really a band-aid. And until you face the problem, you're not going to find a solution. And the more that I faced that problem, the more I got control over it, where it's not dictating my entire life. I think we might have connection problems, but it's not dictating my entire life. It may affect my day. It may affect how I have to approach the day and how do I have to approach my own health, but it doesn't have to control your life.
Right.
And you can find happiness and joy. Because I'm not here to tell people that like it's all gonna go away. Like I don't have an answer for that. I wish I did, but like I feel in my heart that I was made for this. Like sometimes it sucks and it's gonna suck. Um, but looking back at my life, like the most glorious moments were some of the suckiest moments in my life. Like, I mean, it was tough. It tested my limits, but I made it through it. I mean, that's boot camp. My perspective of Iraq when I was in it was completely different than it is now. When I look back, I kind of, you know, I find things to laugh about and bonds that I made and things that we actually did to help the Iraqi people. And I mean, that's a big thing that helps me get through like some really tough times.
Got a
Is
question,
that
RJ. What is it that helped you specifically? Was it that intangible, tangible thing that started to, you know, progress you towards the up and up versus the down and out?
honestly, it was knowing that people cared, knowing people understood the sacrifices that were made, whether they can see them or not. There was a long period in my life where I was what did I do this for? And that was like a really a victimhood perspective on life. But it was as soon as like the community around me started to reach out to me and you know, just small little things that they noticed that I wasn't out as much as I used to be. So is everything okay? Like just something as simple as asking like, how are you doing? and realizing like people around you do care. As someone that has like secluded and isolated, and that's kind of how I deal with things. It's comforting knowing that, that people do care. As many people as say thanks to you when you're in your home alone at night and you're in this like unrealistic state of mind. Sometimes it feels like no one does care. Because they don't understand it. It wouldn't make any sense to them.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that really was a turning point. I'm fortunate that I had a service dog the whole time that helped me in more ways than I could ever explain. But the whole not feeling alone, like knowing people love and care about you, like that's pretty important.
Yeah, interesting. That's fascinating because 2 days ago, 3 days ago, my buddy committed suicide, and I remember him talking to his best friend Casey, and he said, "Hey man, I don't know what's going on." And Casey, without spilling too much of the beans or information, he was like, "Everything's fixable. Just come over. It's fine. It's fixable." And I find it odd that you say, not odd, but I find it on the flip side is people cared. But you did mention that, it starts with you. The choice is yours. And the choice was his. And
Right.
he's not here a year later, unfortunately. And now we have these little moments, and his family has those little moments. Casey has those little moments. Everybody that knew him, that called him a friend, has those little moments. Speak on that. What happened? Were you in that crossroads ever from transitioning to getting out of the Marine Corps and now into the civilian sector? Was that the man's best friend that helped you out there?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I make it to where I'm at right now without him. I was alone a lot in the last decade, and I don't know. It kind of makes me cheer up a little bit, but yeah, like there's things like happened yesterday where it's like I didn't even realize what he was doing for me by like taking my mind away from whatever it was heading towards. I mean, I've always loved animals, but to fully understand like what he did for me.
It's crazy. Tell you what, let me ask you, RJ, how was who put the service dog in front of you, that idea in front of you? How did that come about?
Honestly, I had no idea about it. It was my mom and my younger sister. She's a psychologist, and my mom's a mom.
She's a psychologist in a different way.
Right. They kind of did it on their own. I think that they understood what I was going through, and I'm not someone that I think most Marines are this way. I'm not gonna ask for help. Like I'm gonna beat my head against the wall until I figure it out. And I mean, they kind of did all the work. They reached out to the organization that helped veterans out, and they just kind of contacted me one day and was like, "We got you a service dog." So I mean, I didn't really do any work when it came to that.
Surprise! Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it was a blessing that I still don't fully understand how much she helped me. Like, I think I'll learn more as time goes by, but yeah,
It's
like
divine.
if I got, I mean, it really is. Like, if I have to put credit on anything or anyone, it would be Jocko. He went through so much, pardon my French, but he went through so much like shit, with me. He never turned his back, and that's kind of what we all, at least for me, like that's kind of what I miss most about Iraq is like I had a group of teammates that even in our like worst moments, like they were
Yeah. That's probably the one thing you miss from the Marine Corps, the
yeah,
camaraderie, the
absolutely.
purpose-driven fire team, squad, company. That's crazy because I
Yeah,
hear the same thing.
I mean that's part of like the, I guess, culture shock of like getting out and trying to adjust to civilian life is that like you are your fire team. I mean, not that you don't have support at the end of the day, when you're alone in your house, like you are that fire team.
It's crazy. It's you against the world. That's wild. I'll tell you what, it's not like Marines or service members forget about each other. It's just the operations still happen, the missions still happen. They got to go. You got to stay back. And then you just kind of feel like you're not part of the team anymore. That's crazy. That would do some damage for sure. That would do some damage, especially, trying to heal your body and your mind's not right. That's rough, dude. I'll tell you what, RJ, how did you get into, it seems like you've always been an artist, but just by the pictures you post, did you really get into art after you got out, or was it always a passion of yours?
No. I always used to like doodle. I wasn't very, out of everybody in my family, like I was the least intrigued by education. I was more of a sports person, and I did the bare minimum in education. I still got into college, but I could have done better is what I'm getting at. So I used to doodle a lot. And then when my father passed away when I was 19, that was kind of it was a big hurdle because everybody I grew up with that I knew to be my friend kind of just disappeared. They didn't respond to me anymore. So the way I got through it was through journaling and drawing. If I were to post my drawings from back then, they're a little bit darker than they are now, but that's how I processed my emotions. I would listen to music and journal and draw, and I mean I pretty much kept to myself. It was really just to focus on like getting back to the University of Tennessee and being able to finish college. And I think I reached my breaking point at some point. The Marine recruiter in the area knew my dad. Like my dad loved the Marine Corps. So obviously he was one of those guys that just like randomly stopped by the recruiting office because he was in town. And he's the same guy that would go like, he would take a hike through town with like a 45-pound pack, and it'd be like, Dad, like kind of embarrassing. Not fully understanding the Marine Corps at the time, but it was like, you don't have to wear the backpack. You could just walk. But I mean, that was my dad. So I'm not even sure how I got on that topic, but
The art. We're on art. That's
yeah,
good, though.
the
That's
art
really good.
subject. I used like what I knew about art. I've never really considered myself like a good artist. I just draw what I see. I don't really have any training in it, other than I've read some books. I've tried to follow
Hey, man,
directions.
they look
Directions
great.
aren't always. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would love to see. I would love to see, like, it's almost like not like a memoir, but like a craft book from RJ, from the mind of the 19-year-old that struggled with his dad's death and the stuff that he pictured and saw, and then to now, and how light and smooth and the spirit that you draw with now, compare, contrast, put it together. That'd be a pretty good idea. I like that one. That'd be
I mean,
nice.
I do. That'd be a step because I mean, I do have pictures from back then. I don't know. I haven't been really comfortable sharing stuff until like recently.
Well, that's good.
That's been a recent involvement because I was always really critical with myself, and I'm like, I don't, I don't have any training. Like I didn't go to some art school. I kind of just wing it, and like hopefully it works out well.
RJ, if you wing it, then I have to, holy crap.
That's what I'm saying. Like the only thing, it's all muscle memory. Like right, that's kind of my big thing with PTSD is like if you can find a way to control your perspective in the situation, like you can at the very least you can manage the flashback where it's just like a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Like that's what the Marine Corps has taught me. Like, and maybe I'm just like completely crazy and like other people don't have this capability, but like I just truly believe like if people put enough effort into something that
I'll tell you what, on that point, we have adversity, we had resilience. You talked about adversity, you talked about resilience, what helped you out, what helped. Give me something give something to the listeners that are listening right now that are considering going high and to the right, if you know what I mean. I'll give them something tangible right now, but like, hey, like, I got you. This is what it triggers me. This is what helps me. I'm not saying it'll help you, but maybe consider before you take a 30-inch step in the wrong direction and then you get literally and figuratively IT'd for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is, I mean, it took me a long time, but like being able to identify like what is taking you there? What is that trigger? And if you can't identify that trigger, understand that you're along for the ride. Like if you don't know the trigger, you know how it goes. You've been there, like you've done it before.
damn.
Like if you can identify the trigger, then you can start to address it in a positive way where um I mean the doctors that helped me the most with exposure therapy, which was like the only way is through. So you have to address the problem, and you need a positive outcome. If that positive outcome is like dealing with it for like 20 seconds, then that's the positive outcome. It's a goal and it's a bar that you can set. And maybe the next time you try a minute, but you might not make a minute, but you might make 40 seconds, and that's still progress. And I know for myself, I would beat myself up because I couldn't accomplish like the full goal that I set, but I set way too big of a goal with expectations that were completely unrealistic. So like I think identifying where the problem starts, it took me a long time to realize like that's where everything starts. And the quicker that you can address that, the less likely you are to spiral all the way to the edge. Because, I mean, my biggest thing is not really understanding what was going on. Like, I could look around and see that I'm in my home, but inside my body, like, my heart's going like 100 miles an hour, and my senses are completely like on overdrive where I can hear what's going on in the garage across the street. Like, I know he's working on someone's car. And it's like, that's if you don't know what's going on, then like how do you address the problem?
Yeah,
If you're
I'll
just
tell you
like
what,
so
you you got me. You got me. I'm holding back emotion right now. You said if you can't find out what's triggering you, you're just gonna be along for the ride. Damn.
I
Like for
mean
the
that
ones
that
listening,
was that was a good portion of my life where it was just like I was just trying to keep my head above water. Like what do you do? What do you do when you don't understand what's going on? The second you start to understand what's going on, like you can fight back.
it's like swim qual when you gotta jump off the tower, but you
Exactly.
don't you, just, you don't know what's at the end. You know the outcome in the water, but you don't know what's gonna happen. And when you get to the water, it's fudge. Damn,
I
it's crazy.
I mean, so many things that I've experienced since I've gotten out, as much as I hate to admit it, like the Marine Corps really does prepare you. Now, whether you want to acknowledge that or not is a completely different story. But I fully believe that we all have the tools, like, to fight through it. Sometimes we just need to acknowledge that we do. Like, it's not egotistical to believe that you were part of the most feared fighting force in the world. Like, you didn't
Hooray.
accomplish that for no reason. Like you can do this. You've been through tougher shit. Like yeah, it's just a mental battle at this game. Yeah.
That's good. Your time's precious. Again, I want to thank you for coming on, RJ, and being transparent with the listeners. Honesty and the trigger, the along for the ride down. That was pretty deep. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw a poster the other day. Well, it's a poster in my office now, but it said the battles are won within. The battles are won within, and you have the tools, just like you said. The Marine Corps provides ample amount of experience, even in a short time that you serve, gives you the tools for your toolbox. RJ, people are going through the same thing you are, and all it took was for you to say something out loud like this for your a certain part of your blade to sharpen, right? Where can they reach you at if they want to connect with you or they feel like, hey, I'm going through the same thing as you. Can you help me out? I need a battle buddy in
I
this
mean,
situation. Where can they reach you at?
the easiest way is on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. It's think my handle is page and underscore, or yeah, underscore 11 RJ. I've had a couple of those. So page and underscore, no, yeah, maybe I should look this up. What is it? Yeah, page 11 underscore RJ. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the easiest way to reach me. And I'm always more than, you can DM me if you don't want to talk publicly on the platform. My DMs are open to anybody.
RJ, man, we got to do this again. This was good. This is good. It's almost like a counseling session, but none of us are credited and none of us know what we're doing. We're just kind of just talking to each other. That's the best part.
Exactly. Group therapy,
You know what I mean?
right?
A group therapy, man. I'll tell you what, RJ, we got to do it again. I appreciate your time. Thank you for your service at a crucial time in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pit Talk, Pulling Pits and Opinions with your host, Gunny G and RJ, where service members help service members, period. Follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on all social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, me and RJ, we out. I'll call you a little later. I got some follow up some stuff, but you have a good one and you got my number. Let me know if you ever need anything. All right.
All right. Likewise, brother.
All right, dog.
Stand by, contact. Ceasefire. Stand by, contact. Ceasefire.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members who discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.